I wasn't planning to record a video today, but I just played a really crazy Blitz game and I have to make a video out of it. Just an insane ending. You guys have to see this. Two main themes of today's game. Number one, when you see a good move, look for a better one. Number two, total domination. Just absolute domination in the final position of this game. Let's take a look. So here's the game review. So pretty high accuracy by us as white, pretty high game rating. 3-2 Blitz game. Let's jump in. Okay, our opponent and I are both about 1600 Blitz. We start out with e4, and the opponent decides to play kind of like a modern King's Indian setup. And we just develop the knights, get a big chunk of the center. This bishop generally belongs on this diagonal as opposed to this diagonal when you have the fianchetto structure, because when it's here, it bites on granite. So here is generally better. Castle. Here my opponent played a really weird move. I have no idea why they brought the knight here. Very strange, partly because the normal setup here is I'm going to stack and then have pressure on this knight. I wanted to prevent the knight from getting away though now, so I wanted to punish this move. So I decided to play h3 here so that the knight can never do any maneuvers to like reposition. Castles, bishop e3, f5, and we just continue developing here. I highly recommend this setup in general if you don't know what to play when your opponent is doing like King's Indian stuff. Take like a big chunk of the center, so like 3 pawns here, like I had earlier. Just get the knights out, get the bishop out, and get your queen off the back rank, castle kingside. This is kind of like my default in these positions, and highly recommend if you're, looking for something. Play continues. Pawn takes. Now here we had to do some calculating because you could take the knight, but then they're going to take your knight, and then they're threatening here and then threatening this. So I'll give you guys 10 seconds to think about what would you play in this position as white. So I actually didn't calculate too deeply in the game because this was a blitz game. So I felt like this was good. Bishop takes knight. And after pawn takes, here I had to do some more thinking. So if you take, then they're going to take. And then if you take, they take with check. And I think at the end of all that, they're kind of getting 2 bishops and we're only getting 1. And we each get a rook. So I didn't think that was going to work out for me. So I played bishop takes. And yeah, here I felt like we were just really solid, had a really nice position. But I missed, the computer found this crazy thing where if rook takes, then knight in becomes really scary, threatening this fork. And the problem is our queen is overloaded now. So our queen has to defend the bishop. But like if we go here, they can take, and we can't. If we recapture, then they're going to take. So, it just gets complicated from there. Luckily, my opponent didn't see that. So instead, they recaptured, we recaptured. Play continues. Knight e5. Getting more active. Now, what would you guys play here as white? So the bishop is under attack, as is this pawn. So I decided to play bishop e2. Computer agrees this was the best move. And the spacing is really nice because we're dominating the knight. So the knight can't move like in any direction here because we control all those squares. And we defend our pawn. Queen d7, looking a bit awkward. I mean, you generally don't want to block your pieces in like this. You can't really take here. So yeah, I didn't quite understand this move. I guess maybe they're going to plan to like bring the bishop out over here. Okay, and maybe go like queen f5. But now in this position, how would you guys follow it up? So like we have a really nice position. Queen is very active. King is vulnerable. But these pieces feel all kind of far away from the rest of the board. So what do you prioritize here? I'll give you 10 seconds. So I think if you wanted to get maybe this rook somewhere in the action, something like this. That makes sense. In this position, I wanted to add fuel to the attack here. So the plan I came up with was knight e4, knight g5, and then we have strong, potential mating threats over on the king. So that was the plan. Knight e4. Opponent played queen f5. The computer says the knight has to go back. Black should have played knight back to f7 to kick out my queen, which makes a lot of sense because my queen is just so strongly posted here that after knight g5, I mean, it's like close to game over. So the opponent missed this. Queen f5, trying to create some sort of counterattack, but this is just too solid here. And now you need to find how to keep adding the pressure here. So I'll give you 5 more seconds. This one I've mentioned already. So I went knight g5. And already here, I mean, you can see the eval bar, like this is just so strong, so strong. So threatening mate, black basically has to like give up the rook to try to defend this. So yeah, really strong position now. And that was the best move, and that is what black played, rook to f7. Now what would you guys play as white? So you could take the rook. I mean, that's a good move, right? You could take the rook, queen takes. That's a good move. We're up material now. We're up 2 points. But, I mean, do we have a crushing win here? Not so much. So when you see a good move, look for a better one. What is the best move in this position? I will give you guys 10 seconds. All right, a bit of a hint. It'd be nice if we could bring this bishop into the attack, kick the queen away, do some other stuff here. The problem is they can trade it off with the knight. So play around with those ideas. I'll give you another 10 seconds. The move I found in the game, and the best move according to the engine, f4. So f4 is super strong because we're kicking the knight, and the knight has basically no squares to go to here. So it can't go here. Literally the only safe square is back. That is what the opponent played. That wasn't the best move. The engine found this crazy like rook defense here where after recapture, the rook somehow shields like mating ideas, and somehow black holds for the moment. But our opponent played, I think the logical move, what most people would play in this position, which was knight back. And now, what do you guys want to play as white? How do you follow this up? So something to notice here, this square is weak. So, there might be some way to maybe get a knight here later on, or maybe get another piece. I'll give you guys another 5 seconds if you want to pause and think. The move I played was bishop to g4, hitting the queen. Queen has to move. They go back here. You can see how bad this is. I mean, the computer's saying just sack the queen to stay alive. So things are looking bad. And now, how do you just keep turning down the screws on the opponent here? What do you play as white? Maybe you're thinking like rook over, maybe knight in, something like that. Those are decent, but there's a really strong move here. Bishop e6. This is just devastating. Pinning the rook, and this is like an unassailable bishop. We're going to take this rook, and it's defended by the knight, so the queen is basically helpless to defend here. So here black had to find queen to g7 to basically like hold the position and defend. But instead they went for a counterattack, which is a good instinct. Whenever you guys are in a desperate, hopeless situation, you should look for, can I create threats on my opponent? So I like the spirit of this move by black. The problem for them, though, is that I can just sidestep. My king is safe. There's just no threats here. And in this position, black actually resigned because just look how dominant this position is. We're just going to take a full rook here. I mean, so even if they find queen back, which is the only move that saves them, we're going to take the rook here, and they're going to get mated. And if they do like a normal move, right? So check, only move, mate. So that's the threat. And even if they find the one move that saves them, we still take. They can't go king f8 because then they get forked. So they have to go like king h8. And I mean, play would continue from here. The computer found like queen back. And, or yeah, you could trade queens, and we're up a full rook here. So, you know, it's game over. But just look at the dominance. All my pieces are in here. Rook is pinned. All of black's pieces are out of the attack. And this was just a really nice progression where really this all started because of black's dubious knight move here. This created the initial problem in their position. So like everything progressing from here, this allowed my queen to infiltrate. They probably should not have taken like this. They could let me take, and then after king recaptures, my queen can't infiltrate in the same way. So that was another positional mistake by black. So queen in a really dominant position, hard to kick away, but then we have to follow it up. So here we actually took a step back to preserve the dominance here. We're dominating the knight. We're holding on to our pawn. So sometimes you got to take a step back to just keep everything solid, right? It's not always forward, forward, forward. And here's where we found the knight reroute plan. And now it's just, this is just so strong. They have to give up the rook, but when you see a good move, look for a better one. F4, defending, attacking, kicking the knight away. Again, when you see a good move, look for a better one. Bishop G4, where is the queen gonna go? Almost no squares. They try to stay near the king to defend. We pin the rook, but there's just no way to add a defender here. And after this, we're just gonna take, and it's just absolutely game over, total domination. I hope you learned something from today's video. Make sure to drop a like if you did. Comment down below if you enjoyed this one or have any questions, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.